Today, I managed to infiltrate the Battletech painting community through some channel called Country Fried Minis and spread the word of the real miniature painting hobby, Warhammer. And honestly, it wasn't even that hard. The door to his bullshit corner 2.0 was just left unlocked. And now that I've successfully convinced him to make Warhammer content, I can now continue to spread my influence throughout the miniature painting scene and... Oh, what's this? I don't remember ordering anything.
Dear Cat, in the spirit of competition, I propose that we enter into a jolly mini-swap collaboration. I know that you're a fan of the miniatures as produced by one Mr. James Workshop and tend to favor those on your channel. That said, I think it would be right brilliant if you got out of your comfort zone and instead focused on a fun and highly detailed metal model from the workbench of one Mr. Carlos Bostria. I'm thinking a fantastic miniature from Infinity the Game. I'll even go so far as to suggest that the model to be painted shall be the smallest available, a lowly peripheral remote. I reckon that it'd be rather fun and challenge your perception of details versus detailed models. Looking forward to hearing back regarding the proposal. I suppose you'll have an equal challenge in store, and I look forward to it with great enthusiasm. Warmly, Mr. Cameron A. Thurston.
What the heck? I actually agreed to that? You mean I have to paint something that isn't Warhammer? Oh god, the algorithm won't like that. Ugh. But I can't just back down from a challenge. I'll show that countrified minis that I will always be the better painter, no matter what miniature. Let's get started. Welcome to my unboxing video. Today we have the
Infinity Code 1 Combined Army Support Pack.
There's a lot of words on this box, but none of them seem to tell me what their name actually is. So, I'm just gonna call them Pete. Now, when we open the box, we'll find... Wait, that's it? Is this some kind of joke? Did someone forget to put the plastic in my miniatures? Where are the sprues? Where are the instructions? Who replaced my minis with these hunks of lead? This is gonna be harder than I thought. I'm not sure if this is actually lead or if it is harmful or not, but I put on some gloves anyway. Despite being only 2 pieces, I still have no idea how they're supposed to go together. I thought this metal strip was supposed to be for some sort of slotted base, but the bases in the box aren't slotted, so I think it's just a piece of sprue that I have to cut off to separate these 2 pieces. Wait, they are actually supposed to stay together, and this one bit curls around to connect them. Alright, I'll just have to glue it in place. Easy peasy. Apparently it's not that easy. These pieces of lead are so heavy that they barely hold together. I thought that super glue would be fine, but these gaps are so big that the parts barely have any contact. Now I could go and pull out the green stuff and fill in the gaps, but if I throw enough glue at it, it'll stick together at some point, right? I managed to find a spot that I could rest it without falling apart, and I waited. And waited. And oh man, I thought super glue was supposed to be fast. It was so eager to stick to my gloves just a second ago. But you know what? In the time it took this mini to dry, I got a chance to contemplate life. Touch some grass. And hit that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on, because did you know that 90% of you aren't subscribed? Finally, it's dry. But before we start painting, this mini for Country Fried Minis isn't quite country yet. Now it's painting time. I'm gonna go with a desert scheme on this little Pete, because brown is the colour of both country and fried. I'm going to paint most of the body with a sponge to give it that gritty desert texture, starting with this dark brown, which I also used to base coat the hat. Then, still with the sponge, I did layers of progressively lighter brown, just hitting smaller section of highlights with each layer. I've been really enjoying the results you can get with just layering recently, without needing any fancy wet blending or glazing. Even with just this sponge you can get some really good results. Great miniature painting is not always just about accuracy, especially on a model like this tiny little Pete. Once I finished with the smallest highlight of light brown, I went in with an edge highlight of warm white to define the details and clean up a little bit of the messiness from the sponge. And then the last step for the body is a wash to bring back some of the darkness in the recesses as well. I use this warm orangey brown wash to give it the perfect golden brown fried mini look. On to the best part of the miniature. The hat. I added a little black back to the recesses to define the shadows, and from there really just winged it with some different shades of brown. I've never had to think about where the highlights on a cowboy hat shape go before, so I just let the dry brush find them for me. I think this concoction of different browns and dry brushing actually kind of worked in my favour to make it look like a weathered old leather hat. For the... actually, I don't know what this is. Backpack? Jacket? Yeah, let's go with jacket. I'm going to give Pete a little silver jacket, and just to flex on Country Fried Minis, I'm going to be doing it in non-metallic metal. The most important part of non-metallic metal is not the accuracy, but just big contrast. So I'm starting with pitch black first. Then I layered on progressively lighter layers, making sure to do it in stripes, following the direction of the light would reflect off the surface. I can't explain everything about non-metallic metal in this video, and I don't even think I'd be the best at explaining it anyway, but we did do a whole live stream on this messy metallic metal sort of style if you want to learn by penning along with me. To push that contrast you need for non-metallic metal, I then added a final layer of pure white, again in the direction the light bounces off the surface. But I also used it as just an edge highlight over the whole jacket as well. After finishing the non-metallic metal, I felt like it detracted from the most important feature of the model, the hat. I used the white to mix a very light brown for the bright final highlight. This brightness helps the cap to survive the contrast wars with the jacket and steals some attention back to it. Alright, if I could put it off forever, I would, but if we really want to beat this Country Fried Minis in this little game, we're gonna have to paint the eyes. Ugh, why does it have to have 9 eyes? What do you need 9 eyes for, Pete? I grabbed the smaller brush and blocked them in first with a dark green. Just to torture myself even more, I did 3 layers on top, a middle green, light green, and then a tiny dot of pure white. And there it is, the final result! I lied, that was a test. This mini is still cringe. Time to make it based. There are already tons of options to make desert bases, so there's no need to get fancy here. I'm just gonna slap on a classic Agrellan earth in thick blobs to get some nice, deep cracks. Now, this mini's pretty based. Country Fried Minis doesn't stand a chance.
You know, I didn't know exactly what I was expecting for this here little collaboration project, but I think you really knocked it out of the park. I think that the peripheral for Dr. Worm was a really good choice, and that your color palette is absolutely fabulous. It looks really gritty and dusty, right out of some kind of western. Plus he's got a fun little cowboy hat and is full of the spirit of adventure, just like me. I really dig it. Your color choices are fantastic, the blending is fantastic, and he's got some clearly defined edge highlights that really make the work pop. Plus, it's not exactly easy to work on a model that's so dang small. I think it's wonderful, and I'm absolutely pleased that you took the time to indulge me in this challenge. Fantastic work, Cat.
Okay, but did I win?
Oh, I didn't think there would be a winner. It's just a wholesome little collaboration. You know, have some fun together.
Oh. Tell us in the comments who won. It's definitely me.